So let's revisit for a moment what Bhagwan had said. Bhagwan said, it will not be a new attainment. Self will not be a new attainment. Realization will not be a new attainment. All you have to do, and it's a very simple sounding statement, all you have to do is get rid of the ignorance, all that is false. Self is already present. The false has to go. Now, when that false has to go, you see, the false doesn't want to go. The false is designed, the mind is designed to rule, it is designed to dominate. So you cannot just say, okay, the false has to go and bye. It rarely happens. It may happen, but it rarely happens that way. That the false will just vanish. The thing with the false is that nobody wants to be false about something. Tell me one wrong belief that you have. Tell me a wrong belief that you have. You hold on to it because you take it to be true. If you already knew it is false, it's not a belief that you have. So, how do we categorize among everything that we know what is true and what is false? What is the realm of the false? What is the realm of the false? Where was this false go from?
From the narration.
Yeah?
I mean, I would say from the one who's talking and narrating. And
Okay, how is the false stored? If you want to be free from the false, we must first figure out where is the storehouse of this falseness, is this avidya, ignorance, whatever you want to call it. And over there, then we can do some pest control and say, you go. Isn't it? So first we have to determine where is that false. If you look for it in the wrong place,
It's the belief that you
so the belief systems. The belief system is your sum total of your conditioning. Okay, so now you've determined the self is not a new attainment, it is always there. All we have to do is get rid of the false. We've also determined where the false can be stored. The beliefs that we have, the ideas, the knowledge that we claim to have. Now what do we need to do? He said, get rid of the ignorance. You see? Now in the storehouse of beliefs, what would be ignorant and what would be true? What is the way to determine that?
the heart.
The heart. So let's say, to put it very broadly, if I was to say anything that has the ego at the center of it, the false I, then that must be false. Anything that has the false I at the center of it, then the belief around that false I cannot be a true belief, and therefore it must be ignorance or avidya. Isn't it? So, check for yourself which of these beliefs have God at the center or the self at the center. What are you right about? You see, and not right about from the false one's perspective, but from the perspective of the truth. So that is the project. So to remain just with the truth, we must weed out all that is false. All that is false from nowhere else, not even from your actions, not from the purity of thoughts, not from emotions having to be like this, nothing else. Just in our conditioning, in our belief system. What is true and what is false. You see? So, what can you believe about the truths?
Wouldn't truth not require belief?
Exactly. You're coming there, but you skipped over. It's good. It's good. You see?
All beliefs are false.
All beliefs are false. Because the truth cannot be. What is a belief made up of?
Construct.
It's a construct. Therefore, it's a concept. You see? Now we take those constructs which we take to be true, to be part of our belief system. Nobody holds on to a belief thinking that it is false. Oh, it's false, but I'll still believe it. You see? Unless you've rationalized it in some weird way. You say that this is true, I've taken it to be true because it is true. Now what some of you are saying is that, but the truth, if the truth has to be at the center of this, you see, then it cannot be conceptualized. What can we say about the unchanging reality except in terms of negation? It is not changing, it was not born, it will not come and go. All the negations can point to it, but they don't give us any constructive thing to hold on to. With me? Am I going fast? So who can recap where are we now? What are we doing?
Find where the beliefs reside.
Right from the beginning?
And how do you
Yes,
let
some
it-
of them just came, so just from the beginning. We're referring to Bhagwan's statement. He said the truth will not be a new attainment, it will be just a letting go of the false. Avidya has to be dropped. You will not get true Vidya. True Vidya is already there. Atma Gyan is already there. Brahma Gyan is already there. You see? Only the ignorance has to be dropped. Then we said, where is the storehouse of this? Where is the storehouse of avidya? Just in our belief system, in our conditioning. So that which we call vasanas, conditioning, we may call it all kinds of things. All of that is stored in our belief system. So you don't have to fix anything in the realm of action, you don't have to fix anything in the realm of emotion, you don't even have to fix the purity or impurity of thought. You see? You have to clean up your conditioning and you must keep only that which is true and wean out all that which is false. That is the project. See? Now he said, okay, I can go to my belief system and I can audit it and say, okay, what among this is true and what is false? See? Now, if you hold on to stuff about the ego, about the false one, then you will still be left with avidya. So you must have the truth, the unchanging reality at the center. And this brings us to where we are now, which some of you have said, hey, but at the center, if I have to keep the truth, I can't say anything about it really. You see? And a belief is what? Saying something about what we take to be true. Isn't it? So, except in negation, we cannot make a positive claim about that which is true. So now we are in trouble. Easy. Now we are in trouble. That means the whole thing has to go. The whole shebang has to be thrown into the river. Now, as you throw this into the river, along with it goes who?
Identity.
You. So, satsang is throwing yourself into the river. Not physically, because that doesn't help anything. It's not about your physical activity, your physical body anyway. So can we take that which we take yourself to be, everything? Because the truth must not be concerned with the comings and goings. If you can throw it out, how can it be true? If you can even bring it in, then how can it be true? Then it would make it part of the coming and going. It would make it part of the coming and going. That much is clear to all of us. The negations are pretty clear. It does not come and go. It was not born or will not die. Cannot be perceived. There is no change. There is no boundary. All the negations are clear to us. But the negations don't tell us anything constructively about it. So what is the way to throw all this falseness into the river? As you inquire, I ask you, are you aware now? And that can translate into, are you awareness? Okay, I'm taking a giant leap, and anything that is not clear, we can rewind. Say, I am this awareness. Nirguna in nature, no quality. Because to be aware is not a quality really. So, if this is your truth, if this is what insight tells you immediately, then your attachment to that which is false, it reduces. So that is one way. The other way is to constructively surrender, realizing that I hold on to the false, constructively try to come to an emptiness. And that surrender, that devotion, that faith can seem a little bit difficult because sometimes we want to hold on to our discoveries on the spiritual path also. I had the experience of Brahman 3 months back. I saw there is no me. That was true. So we want to hold on to something in time. We want to hold on to something in space. So instead of the fresh meeting with God, we are trying to meet God in the narrative. It is impossible to meet God in that way. So it is this part of squeezing out specialness, squeezing out spiritual specialness, therefore spiritual ego specially, where subtly but clearly we may have made many ideas about ourselves and the truth. That seems to be setting the Sangha on fire. And Advaita has missed all that in the thing, but I'm glad she's back. Setting the Sangha on fire. That's why I keep asking, so if you are burning, can you identify what can burn? So if I tell you that you have too much specialness, if you don't, it cannot burn. You must be right. What are you talking about? So if you don't have an idea about specialness, either way, can it burn? So either you can be like, okay, I'll look at it. But when it pokes, We may have an idea that, but I'm not special. Is it? And that can go. Then in the question, what would you not do for God? A lot of these belief systems and conditions are also being shown up. That means you have an idea or a boundary that you have defined for your spirituality, and without realizing it, what we've created actually is a boundary around our faith. That God, I am spiritual, this is your domain, this much. इसके आगे मत जाना. This is mine. Then you have plenty of ideas in terms of what is right spirituality and wrong spirituality, which you may have picked up from this mouth only. You may have plenty of ideas that you picked up in Satsang itself. Oh, this is right, this is wrong. So when I am saying to all of you, surrender to God's will, become obedient to God's will, why would that be fearful? And why is it seeming contrary to our spirituality? What is fighting that? Who should give up on the idea, but I am also God?
I think it's a familiarity with the known devil.
Really, yes. In a way, the known, I would say. The devil, if you recognize it is the devil, then you will find a way to push it out. You see? So somewhere, I see what you're saying. It's almost like Stockholm syndrome, where you just feel like, oh, but you see, I have this. At least I have this. It is familiar, even if it is a comfortable hell, because I don't know what lies out there. So I'll hang on to my comfortable hell in the knowledge of it. Maybe we think we've gotten used to it, rather than the risk, the seeming risk of diving into the deep unknown.
I see that while playing golf, it's like out of 10 shots, you'll get one good one. But the 9 suffering shots,
Yes, yes,
people forget.
yes, yes.
Father, for me, where it changes, no?
Yeah.
What we were saying before and now. So, before you would show us what
Yeah.
inside of being awareness
Yeah.
and rely on that for whatever. But then, like last satsang, you were saying what alters, like your order. It's taking your order. That's different from relying on this inside yourself.
Yes, I don't recall really saying in the last satsang so much about my order, but if that shoe fits, wear it. It's good. So let's make it about, okay, those of you who call me Guru, suppose you have to spend the rest of your life following my order.
Yeah.
Then what pokes there?
Because this thing can say something different. I might still be in God's light and not follow what you say.
Yes, yes. So let's face that situation. Let's face that situation where I make the claim that I am following my heart from God's light, from God's presence, and let God itself create that contradiction and in your heart guide you in a different way. Those are the conversations I would love to have. Those are the conversations I would love to have. But so far, to be honest, all I've gotten is your heart may be saying this, but my mind says, scary, scary. My mind says, don't go there. My mind says, whatever, right? So right now it's only heart collision with mind. Let's come to a point where let's see if the hearts can collide. Let's see if we can intuitively collide. Let's see if that happens.
One thing is, so you want to talk about God's will. the discovery were to be in focus, like
Yes.
do I exist, God, that.
I'll just expand on the first part of what you're saying, and I've often said that we are so blessed at the Sangha because this is a real first world problem to have,
Yeah.
isn't it? What a first world problem to have, that you say, I have an insight into God. You see, why can't I just stay with that insight? Now, how many people can claim that in the world? You see, I can meet God. I can meet God's presence. I can meet that which is aware even of the presence of this being. Most of you are saying that. You see? What a wonderful first world problem to have. You see? Now you have that, but the problem is what? The problem is that the spiritual ego takes a hold. I made this discovery. I came to beingness. I came to awareness. Awareness is empty of quality. Beingness is like that. You see? So this Ravana mindset, you see, because Ravana also came to the discovery. So, what is the antidote to this spiritual ego? The antidote to the spiritual ego is faith. Unwavering faith, unwavering obedience. And this word obedience is pushing a lot of buttons. Because nobody wants to come to freedom to become obedient. In the mind's way of functioning, it sounds like a contradiction. You see? So, what is your life based on now? Are you not obedient to something? It's worth exploring that. You're obedient to what you take to be your ideas of right and wrong, but they're not your ideas. You did not create them. They just popped up in your head. And you made a condition out of them. That is taking the bite of the apple from the tree of knowledge. Isn't it? So even in the tasting of the most pristine spiritual insight, which we must always be grateful for, there is the potential to become egoic and special about it. In fact, that has the most potential. The spiritual ego is the worst form of ego. So if, and I've given you examples of all cultures and traditions in this world where true spirituality is followed, everything has to follow God's will at the center of it. What makes us special? What makes us say, I will be Frank Sinatra and do things my way? What is that? Have you identified it? Have you identified what that is?
Think for me, in what way are we different from so many people who claim to know God and His will and went about committing so many atrocities? This Hukun thing, that's where I was there. Again, there's religion, there's God, there's God's will. And
Yes, yes. Now, to authentically follow God's will, like I said, you have an advantage because you can say, I have met God. Do you feel that all those who are claiming to follow God's will, as you're saying, committing all this terrible stuff, do they strike you as someone who's had a true meeting with God? So then you're saying that you're not saying, you're saying like a very extreme version of let's throw the baby out with the bath water. You see? Because some bath water has some chlorine in it or something. Not finding the right metaphor. So we should not follow God's will because there are some people in the world who have used that excuse or claim to inflict atrocities on people.
I'm not saying, I just don't know the difference in what way are we different. I mean, even they say they have access to God, and
Yes.
they say we have access to God.
Yeah. Yes. But you must rely on your truth.
Yeah.
You see,
But
you
not
must
a
rely.
hukum.
Huh?
But not a hukum, my truth.
Yes, that is the okay. So let's see, what is the hukum? What is the hukum? So if Nanak ji said hukum rajai chalna, Nanak likhya na. So either he could be not talking about people like us because we are special. What's wrong? What is he doing wrong?
I didn't understand anything.
He's saying basically that at the end of all of this, and maybe we can read the whole thing, you may think and think 100,000 times, but God will not be found as a product of your thinking. You may sit in silence for a long, long time, but God will not be found in that silence. You may surround yourself in a feeling of love and peace and joy, but God will not be found in that way. You may stuff yourself with the best material things available, but God will not be found in that way. You see? You may use all of your smartness. I'm just translating. You may use all of your smartness. You see the siyapa, and God will not be found using that smartness. You see? Then comes like the voice of the frustrated seeker in the Japji Sahib. I'm just translating that. Then it's the voice of the frustrated seeker who says, if not all of this, then how will I find the truth and how will the veil of illusion be lifted? Then he says, Hukum Rajai Chalna, Nanak Likhya Na, which means walk under the obedience or the hukum of God, and that is what Nanak has said. So let's openly explore what could be wrong with this.
I feel like
So, but before we do that, can we first explore how would we follow the hukum? How do we know if it's a true hukum in the first place?
that's what I was saying in the beginning. It says Ikumkar. So it kind of says
Yes,
what it
yes,
finds
yes.
to be true.
Yes.
It is Ikumkar, Sat Nam Karta Nirvay. It's outlined. This is the truth.
Yes.
Then it says how you won't find this if you
True,
go
all of this.
way.
Yes, very good.
So
Very good.
if you follow this, you'll find. If you don't, then
So
you
let's
won't.
quickly run through and you see if any of those things are not clear to us. Ekumkar, Satnam, Karta Purak, Nirbhav, Nirvay, Rakal Murat, Ajuni Saivam, Gur Prasad Jap, Aad Sach, Jugad Sach, Nanak Hosi Bhi Sach. I may have missed something, but I feel that's the overall construct. No? So all of these things are the way of the insight, and we've discovered them. There's one truth. Its presence is I am, Om. It is the only true name. It's the one doer. It is beyond fear and desire and aversion. All of these things we have discovered. That which is timeless, Aad Sach, Jugad Sach, and Nanak Hosi Bhi Sach. Means that which is unchanging in time and boundless in space. Then he says, how do we make this discovery? You cannot do it by thinking, you cannot do it by meditating, you cannot do it by anything. all these things will not lead you to the finality of truth till you follow the will of God. Now suppose it was a multiple choice thing. So you could follow the will of God or
Ego. What do you think? You know what you've been following?
my will.
Yeah.
My will is based on
What I think is right.
yeah,
What I feel.
what you take to be right. Is it? What is the original quote unquote sin, so to speak?
Knowledge of right and wrong.
The knowledge of right and wrong. And this is super confusing because I always got confused as a kid about it. I said, they ate this fruit and it told them what was right and what was wrong. That's supposed to be very good. But what happened? They started covering themselves in fig leaves, started fighting amongst each other. And we don't have to worry whether this really happened or is a metaphor. It's not for us to understand that. But if it's the centrality of something, centrality of a way of pointing, then what is it pointing to? That is worth trying to see.
Does it point to a separate self? I mean, in itself, does it point to like a separate self? Like if I say karta for one being, so the I which I feel in myself is also one. I mean, I don't feel many.
Okay, let's zero in on this one. When we realize that there is one doer, what can that realization be in the form of? Is it too complicated for us? You can make an understanding out of it. Is it? There's only one doer. I know this. We know this as a piece of knowledge. There's only one doer. So when things bother us in life, you can say, it's okay, God is doing it. What should I do? Oh, it's okay, God is doing it. So that can be the pose of following God's will. But is that truly following God's will? No, it's still following a condition because I believe there is one doer. So now I am living in this way under that belief. Let me tell you how it seems to play out from here. And then we can see how to apply it at all in our life. First, ask yourself what you want. What is it that you want? Even coming to Satsang, what do you want? Somebody say, what do you want?
Depends on what which you are asking.
Just like, generally speaking, what do you want?
Actually, don't know what.
Don't know. Too many satsangs have happened.
I feel I know. I feel I know in the sense meaning that I heard this truth being said many times and I want to recognize the truth of that.
You want to recognize the truth.
Yeah.
Good enough.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you want? Anyone else?
Peace of mind, sir.
You want peace of mind. Thank you.
Stop.
See.
To dissolve in love.
You want to dissolve in love. Okay.
Stop being an idiot.
Stop being an idiot. To be with truth?
The truth, yeah.
The truth. Okay. To be with the truth you want. And?
There's no I in
In
truth.
God's light.
Huh?
There's no I in truth.
There's no I in truth. Okay. You want
Completely in God's light.
to be completely in God's light. Okay. So first is stop it. Can you stop it? How can you stop it without replacing it with I don't want this? See? I don't want to dissolve in God's life. Or love or whatever. You see? So, in the way of the mind, there is no such thing as neutrality. You have the concept or the opposite of it. That makes up the mind, isn't it? Either you have the positive or the negative, and both are, that's a different conversation, but both are the two sides of the same coin. Now, to not want it, and most of you have been in satsang long enough to see this, what is the replacement?
Surrender.
Surrender. In surrender, what happens? What did you want when you came? What did you say? You said?
I didn't say anything specific, but it was all of the above.
All of them. I wanted all of this. So suppose it is to live in God's light. You wanted that. Now when you surrender, what actually happens?
Then you live in God's life actually. By saying that whatever you do.
Yes, but if I said stop it, don't want that. The mind way to stop it is say, no, I don't want to live in God's light. You see? But what is that emptying that I'm talking about? What is the open and empty?
Just stop the efforts in that. Sorry.
Is it to stop the effort?
Emptying of your preferences of what you think you
Emptying. So
want.
how does one empty?
No mind, no ego.
Huh?
No mind, no ego.
No mind. So how does one come to that empty mind, no mind?
Yeah.
Not taking anything in language to be true.
Don't take your thoughts to be true, but they will come. Okay? Don't take them to be true means don't identify, don't believe. So then we are becoming Zen, where we say, let them come and let them go, don't serve them tea. Thoughts are like visitors. Let them come and let them go, don't serve them tea. What is the tea you could serve them? Identification, belief. So in that way, are you empty now?
Maybe you become slave to God, so a slave will not have a wish. So that's why you.
Yes, we're just coming to that. So first see if you can meet the emptiness the way we are talking about it. I'm already starting to become a bit teary-eyed as I'm saying this, but empty of personal will, and that is today's contemplation also. Is it all vegetative and static? Am I going too fast? Is it all vegetative and static, lifeless? Can you for yourself experiment with this and say, be very right about something that you want, even the most beautiful sounding desire? Can you contrast this with this openness, with this emptiness? Is it sounding too far-fetched? Too difficult? Empty of individual will, empty of the narrative. Has life gone? Is life still here?
It's like a child, no? Child is doing so many things, but it's largely empty of.
Yes. And we have never lived as well as we have lived in that way. What is the difference? As you empty in this way, have you stopped breathing? Have you stopped hearing? Who is doing all of this functioning? Is the light of your heart dimmed down because you are not thinking about it? Because you are empty of desire. What has happened to the light of presence? If your body needs to cough, the cough happens. Does it need to be told, now cough? I need to drink some water. The drinking happens. Do I need to know I want to drink water from this is a glass, which is a container for water?
Father, the things of the world will continue, but from the presence.
Yes. Exactly. Exactly. So now, all you're doing is noticing that from the light of this presence that we may call God's light, that which we take ourselves to be, that which we take our body to be, whether it is this one body or the entire universe which we take to be our body, it continues to be animated in the same light. I feel like till here nobody has a problem. No, till here nobody has a problem. It's clear, it's apparent, God's light is shining, all this movie is playing in the same light. Everyone is fine. Your only trouble now is that you think that, but if this light is shining, it should just shut up and do its job and keep shining and don't tell me what to do. That's where the trouble is starting. Till here we are okay. Till here no problem of obedience and all that. It's very nice. Stay like this. It's all fine. But what if one day this presence started to guide you, and it is not like a guidance which is just like, this is unfolding. This is unfolding. What if it said you have to move to Timbuktu? Then what?
Then believe it because it's in language.
Because it's language, you won't believe it, even if it is clear to you that this is not mental, it is from your heart.
Because you can't explain it, have no words.
Yeah?
It is.
Yes, but suppose you've not experienced this before. All of you have actually, and that's why you're in satsang in some way. But suppose that the only voice you heard is of the mind, and now you know that if there is a language, if there is a sentence, if there is a concept, then it must be mine. Then firstly, the words of satsang themselves must be contaminated with the mind. This is also language. No? If it is contaminated with the mind, how are so many of you flowering so beautifully? And how is the fragrance of the words in satsang different from conceptual Advaita or conceptual religion or conceptual philosophy? Where are these words coming from? If we say, for years we've had the book, the only book that we really printed is Consciousness Speaking with Consciousness. We should just say, but everything is consciousness speaking with consciousness. What a silly title. Why do we say satsang is consciousness speaking with consciousness? But everything is consciousness. What are we saying? We are saying that it is unfiltered through the adulteration of egotism. So this is where the buttons are being pushed at the moment. You're okay to be empty, open and empty, because you've heard this for years. The only problem is that if the voice started to speak to you or even through you, and you'd be okay with through you, no? Actually, you'd love that through you stuff. I can share satsang now. Oh, yeah, yes. No. You must do like that. You must inquire. All that is fine. But if it is telling you something, then you have a problem. Now we are catching the thing. So you're saying empty is fine. God's light is shining. Everything is beautiful. And many of you are going to be very happy if it starts using this mouth as the instrument. Like that, like that. My child, you must surrender. My child, you must inquire. You would love that to happen through that mouth, isn't it? It's only when it's directed to you, then you feel like, no. Are we zeroing in properly? How many of you would not trust that voice if it is coming for others? How many of you would not trust that voice from your heart if it was coming for others? Others in the sense, you're talking to your neighbor says, I'm going through a lot of problem, and your heart starts speaking to her, and you're just like, surrender to God, and all of that, and you would trust it. No? So you would trust it when it requires obedience from another. And many of you had this experience where you've noticed this unfolding in this way, isn't it? You have your friends, with neighbors, with people. That day Radha was talking to her taxi driver who, started doing inquiry while driving. So then I don't know whether he became wonky in his driving. All of you had that. Okay. So when it is directed seemingly outwards, let's see where we are. To become empty of will, everybody is, yes. The taste of the presence of God and even the taste of this phenomenal world seems to immediately get amplified the instant you're open and empty. Now first we said that we don't want it to tell us what to do. It's the presence of God, it should just shine and mind its own business as far as everything else is concerned. You can see the absurdity of that, and that's why I'm saying it in that way. Because all of this is already shining in its light, with its own intelligence. Now you're also saying that you've noticed that it speaks. It can tell people, it has been telling loved ones and neighbors and things like that. This is the way to be open and empty. And many of you reported back to me saying that it is not coming from our mind. It's not coming from a place of specialness. It is just like many of you said, Father, you started speaking through me. Have you not said? You started speaking through me. So when speaking through you, it's fine for others to have that expectation that they should follow. But when it is speaking to you, that is when it is pushing some button.
what you speak is actually what my heart is speaking.
Yeah.
You know? And like when you said it's like when you shut your mouth, speak.
Yeah.
It became apparent that why can that not happen? It's the
Yes.
same voice. Somehow I needed to relate to you to hear it.
Yes.
You know, but it's completely possible that it starts speaking
Yeah.
to me in that way. Right?
Yes. Absolutely.
So why is there a rejection of if that same voice started speaking inside?
Yeah, it has to, no? In fact, that's how these contemplations are coming up, because I just open the note making tool that I have and I just wait for it to start showing up. It comes from there.
I think goes back to that question my brother was asking that day, that intuition is very clear.
Yeah.
Repeatedly over time, even voices saying this is what needs to happen or you
Yeah.
need to do. And the mind comes and
Yeah.
says, oh, it may hurt somebody or A, B, or
Yeah.
C. So it's that tussle.
Yes. That tussle, yes, and that struggle we will come to. But firstly, we must look at the lack of faith or the lack of trust in being able to follow what our own heart is saying in under the oppression or slavery of what our mind tells us is right or wrong. And just to connect it to the original narrative of where we started, so devotees ask Bhagwan, so how can we be rid of conditioning? And he said, what? It is already so. It's super confusing for the devotee because he said, you must empty yourself from this conditioning. And then, how do we do it? It's so already. Why do you tell us all this? It had to be told. Yeah. Now I'm paraphrasing, not putting words in Bhagwan's mouth. But you could protest, no? Hey, it's already so, then why did you tell us all this? Because it's important to do it. How will you do it? It is so.
Well, if I were to take an example, suppose God's will were to say I should donate 1,000 rupees to something.
Yeah.
What am I doing?
Then you must do it.
Okay.
I tried to conveniently forget. God told you right now. Give me $1,000.
Yes. Coming back.
Ah.
So you said, so to tell ignorance from truth, who is at the center of the thoughts? That was your criteria to tell. And in this sort of thought, in this sort of language sentence, that I should donate 1,000 rupees to an orphanage.
Yes.
Who is at the center there?
Yes. So when I tell you whether you should follow or not, who is that, you or I?
It stops making sense then, that instruction. If
Yes.
you have to really
Yes.
follow.
Agreed. Exactly.
That's not much of an instruction. Stop
Yeah.
making sense.
Yes, that is the main instruction.
Okay.
As long as you can receive that instruction as a you, then you must receive the instruction as a you. You cannot say, for this I wanted to make sense, but when the mind says, don't follow God's will, then I can understand that. Is it willing to take on the identity when it comes to the mind's oppression? Is it? But when it comes to following God's will, who? So anyway, I've clarified that what you may find happening, you can't really predict, is that most of your lives you spend most open and empty anyway. Is it? You spend open and empty where it's just unfolding so naturally. But ever since I started prodding a bit on this part, I've noticed a lot of ouches are coming, so I want to keep pushing that point.
Can you tell us again what you just said, that if I receive that instruction as a person, then I have to follow it? That meaning,
If there's somebody there to still receive
Yeah,
it
yeah.
like I am receiving it,
correct.
then we must follow.
Because if I can follow my ego's demands,
Otherwise,
then-
we are standing on Guru Nanak Ji's pointing,
Yeah.
saying, I am too Advaita for you.
The one practical I guess downside of following the heart when it's even feels very clear without thinking is that you may tend to get labeled as selfish.
Yeah.
And so then that creates a new loop.
Yes.
I mean, it's massively reduced, but I'm just reflecting on my past self. Why didn't I listen to some intuition that was so clear, right? Was convincing myself that, oh, it's so clear, but it's selfish because of causes and effects. So then you kind of lose confidence in that.
Yes. You be labeled all sorts of things. As I was saying, that sometimes we just have to accept that the payback for love is hate. But we can't allow that to stop us.
Taking me back to that time when Ram and Om were restructuring with that authority thing.
Yes.
And somehow with them, I was also sort of wondering that what is this thing with authority?
Yeah.
But somehow it was very clear, because it was very clear, very quickly that it can't happen. That I can't do it on my own. And without your, without that, your voice, I couldn't.
There's a problem that, I don't know, that boys seem to have more. Because even she was saying, oh, it's fine, and basically it is your hukum. And this is when I've not given any hukum so far. Already there's so much in it. Will we become a cult? Surrounded by a crazy madman in the middle. Huh? Yes. Scary. Actually, traditionally, there's never been a risk-free spirituality. It's only in the modern world. As your most treasured sweeties, with your most treasured ideas of being right, they have to also be scooped out of you. And the mind is bound to find the one who comes in with the scoop to be the attacker and try to build all the defenses. And many of you are stuck like that because in your heart you love me and you can't avoid me. But in your mind you just want to run. No? That is the most auspicious sort of burning. Even if you run, it's okay. Even if you run after that, it's okay. At least some burning happened in that process. You see? There may be time where you try to reconstruct the ego by creating distance. You see? But some of you are properly stuck. Your love brings you here. Your mind hates me here. It doesn't have to go like that for everyone. But But if that is happening, that is also good. I was telling Aradhana also yesterday that what is this fire? Right? The fire is basically a dissonance that is being created. And if you can track who's on which side of that dissonance, then that fire will burn you completely. Which side of the dissonance am I calling from? Because the dissonance is between head and heart.
Coming from the true side.
If you can see that, you see, then this burning will burn up all the faults fully. Okay?
Is it in the bottom line is for the survival of ego? Somehow I
Hey,
would
all this is about the ego. All these four things are for the ego. The ego is posing as if it wants freedom. No? So, your trouble is most of you have already said, my life is for you, Father. And I'm glad you said, because now you have to live up to that claim.
Father,
Mm-hmm.
may I say something?
Yes.
Yeah. Just thank you so much. Everything you say is so no words,
Thank you.
and totally here for you. And
Thank you.
last night I saw that there is a huge resistance to surrender to you, and I love you so much.
Thank you.
Forgive me. And about following the God's will, and is this self-image who like I choose it instead of God, like not to be humiliated,
Yes.
or I don't know, and yeah.
Yes. Yes. Very good. Very good. I've been seeing all of your reports on the thing, also the channels, and I'm very touched by them. What pushed the most buttons, of course, is that prayer that came for me. And I shared with all of you. I shared with all of you about humbling myself, about let the world spit on me, let me become a naked beggar on the streets. That pushed a lot of buttons, because if you felt that if Father is praying like this, why am I not able to do it?
Yeah, exactly.
And that is shining a lot of spaces where there is fear. And all the fear is about things in that which, as Advaitins, all of us claim to be false anyway. We have already claimed that this whole world is false. Everything that comes and goes is unreal. All of us have said it. So then, easy. So this is causing the claims to be like poked. I'm not saying to anyone you must become a naked beggar on the street. But just the what if itself is causing so much fire. So if you're truly where we are claiming to be that, yes, I see that the world is false. Then, what's the trouble? What's the trouble?
Yeah,
The trouble
what is
is,
in the mind.
yes, my child. One more thing. The trouble is only that we were using the world is false so that we could be at peace. All of the spirituality was helping me. And by the way, which me was that being helped? The spiritual me, the seeker me, the me, ego. The world is false or real? Now you have to be careful with that answer, isn't it? Because it's not a Vedanta class anymore. It was just a Vedanta class, yes, of course. And you quote scripture also and say, Krishna said, this one said, Yajnavalkya said, this one said, that one said. The world is unreal. They give up everything that you have in the world. No. See, that is what I mean by the lip service armchair spirituality. See,
It's a very, such a devious way. So the Advaita said, he's lost it because it's not Advaita. I don't know what he's talking about. Maybe he doesn't know Advaita. But when you try to repeat it with your own tongue, with your heart, the first statement, humble me. I mean, just even, it could not even say that statement, with integrity. It just created such a, it just got so exposed, in that first statement only. The head and all design, dismissed it. Doesn't know. But to actually say, it was caught like you can get, in 1 second, like how I was.
Of course, the mind hates it because it's a very different thing. You will never find, possibly you will never find a Shankara prayer like that. No? You build a perch on top of the knowledge of Advaita and suddenly your master himself says, where is that? Humble me, Father. Let everyone take me to be a sinner and fool. May every shred of pride be squeezed out of me. Make me a humble servant. Make me love you such that I don't ask for anything from those who I love. May I accept their hate and malice as a gift from you, my Lord. Humble me, Father. Make me a naked beggar in the eyes of the world. Make me known for my vast ignorance and stupidity. May I never forget that I am a measly servant, Father. Let my name be mud. Let my children hate me. Let the world spit on my face. But may I never feel that I am serving you well or helping your world in any way. Humble me, Father. I am a stupid, pretentious sinner. Forgive this servant for all this pride. I am undeserving of you, Father. Nothing I can say is repentance enough. Your grace is everything. I pray to your grace that I remain a foolish servant, undeserving of you in every way. May I remain hopeless and foolish, and never forget that you, my Father, are all. I ask for nothing, Father, no reassurances for my lack of faith. Just as I see clearly now, may I always see. And so many of you kids have written to me after reading this saying, Father, everything all right? I know you're like free and all that, but you can tell. And I love that. It's very sweet. It's very sweet. But I can't tell you how much joy there is in this prayer. How much freedom there is in this. It may feel scary, but who is scared? This is the trick that the mind has played on everyone. Even Guruji, the mind played that trick saying, you will become a hunchback, Quasimodo type beggar in Brixton. He tries to scare you away with this. But if you make the prayer, you have to make it with integrity, because you cannot fool yourself. You cannot say, Guruji also had this fear. But look at him, it's all pretty comfortable. He never became a beggar in Brixton. Ananta is making this prayer and he is living comfortably on the 8th floor. He's not a naked beggar on the street. So I can also make it. It's okay, nothing will happen. You see, so that is not just about lip service.
And then may I say something?
Yes, ma'am.
At this point, it seems like it's no ground to stand. Like it's something totally new, and it's like I don't know how to explain. Yeah, maybe it's not needed, but and everything which is false is like, crazy for.
Yeah. But as you hear these words, which may not sound so Advaita, what is the identity that is getting scared? What is it that's getting pushed? What is the fear? Isn't your life for God, by the way? No?
Yeah.
I'm saying to everyone.
Okay.
Yeah, but good, you can also answer. Is it just good, big words, like nice words to say?
It always is.
Yeah?
It always is.
It always is for God.
Father, it's easy to say it's for God, but moment to moment, when this idea and like it's somehow tested by life, and after you made this claim, hurts more when you see moment to moment that you don't choose.
Yes.
You don't stay with your claim.
Yes, and that is the burning that needs to happen. That's exactly the burning that needs to happen.
You see that from morning to evening, the efforts are in fact the opposite direction to make sure everyone not appreciate, but at least be good in front of everyone. Yeah, even daily small activities is to boost that ego part. But praying on the other side or the opposite side is also.
So to bring that into your light is very important, because otherwise satsang just remains something that, it's like you spend a lot of time just being egotistical, and then you come to satsang to regain some peace and feel good, and then go back. What is the definition of good? Who can determine it? What will be good to say to all of you now? What will be good when a beggar asks me for money? What will be good in any situation in life? Humans have been in existence for many thousands of years. We still don't know. Everybody has their own philosophy about it. What was good before the knowledge of good and bad? What is good? If Buddha left his house and abandoned his family, and he became a useless beggar that nobody heard of after that, that would have been bad. But because he became the Buddha, and still there are new Buddhas being born every day, meeting God in some way, then it has become good. But when it is happening now, how do I know? How can we know? I am proposing to all of you that if it comes from God, it is good. If it comes from ego, it is not. If it comes from selfishness, it is not. That's the only way I have found to determine this. And now you don't have the excuse to say, I don't know what God wants. हाँ? आप सब लोग यहाँ के बहुत बुरे फंसे हैं। Anup is definitely agreeing with me. क्या चाहिए ईशाना? Couldn't you send me to some regular Gita class? Huh?
He sent me a message.
He sent you a message like that? His expression just was like, yes. कहाँ फंस गया? I came to Satsang for peace. Every day I'm crying. But is it just my eyes? This is a different boy sitting here compared to who came. You can see that? So if the arbiter of good and bad is whether it comes from God or from ego, how to lead a life which is good? Is a life spent not being able to meet God and therefore hearing God's voice, God's presence? There is no hope for truth and goodness there. And I am not giving you any airy-fairy construct. I am not going to tell you, oh, listen to God in whatever you are saying, but how? I can't tell you. Go. Find out. I am making it a living experience for you. All you have to overcome is the doubting Thomas in your head. Huh? Which is just coming from what the things that you think you know, that you're right about. And that one will definitely want to attack me at every opportunity. And I'm happy to be attacked in that way. At least it's having an impact somewhere. Yeah. You don't want to attack someone unless you care something about them. So if your mind wants to attack me, it's sensing some trouble. This looks like a regime change could happen. No, a regime change could happen. That's why the soldiers are like now perking up. If there was no threat, it won't want to attack. Isn't it? Pointless. So what you will not be able to do, I can tell you upfront, which is to save yourself and find God. You may have some secret compartment saying, oh, save my something, some attachment. It could even be save my spirituality and show me God. Can't do it. I want to be like this only, show me God. Can't do it. The rest you let go fully. All this will also become just conceptual knowledge. But after 2-3 weeks, this will stop pushing buttons. I'll have to find a new track. After 2-3 weeks, everybody will be like, yeah, ask me anything, God, I'm fully chill. Yeah, you have to find some other route to poke you. Your mind is not built up enough defenses yet against this. So this is the sweet spot in a way. But this still has so much fire. And that's why the expression of satsang over the years has changed so much. Although from the beginning we would have said, full surrender, full letting go is needed. None of this actually is new. We're just coming, meeting what that really means for us. Years ago I shared about this bhajan which really touched me because my wife's family used to sing this one, and when I learned it, it really touched my heart. It was Jahir Vidhi Rakhe Ram, Tahir Vidhi Rahiye. I've shared with many of you. Whichever state Ram keeps you in, stay in that state. It seemed like such a simple statement. But when you dive down and say whichever state, are you okay with whichever state? Jahir Vidhi, whichever state. If Ram says, be deluded for 100 million more lifetimes, yeah? Okay? Scary. Move that fear. The potency in even one of these things is enough to burn us up. But what happens is because we meet it metaphorically and poetically and romantically, they all just sound like fancy notions. But we don't take it as a real roadmap. If the sage has told you there is only room for God or you, is he lying? Is he lying or deluded? Authoritatively, a sage has told you there is room only for God or you. Is that sage lying or is that sage deluded? Yeah. None of the above. Then he's telling the truth. And what are we up to? Me. God for me. This works for me. Satsang works for me. It doesn't work for me. In what can you know better than God? This presence which you're meeting, and this is such a beautiful problem, actually privilege, which seeming like a problem to you, because you have no escape. You're meeting this presence. You're scared to follow its will. It is with its will that you are able to breathe. Even before your breath, one moment of the waking state is showing up in whose light? If that went away, what is this? Is there this or that? And that is the will we are scared to follow? Are you starting to see the absurdity of our complaints? Because if that will stop functioning, what you take yourself to be is dead. Even if you take yourself to be this whole universe, finished. Are these speculative words? Are these words which are nice sounding spirituality, but actually this is more a scientific universe? Then all the sages have just made fools out of us and gone. And Maharaj said that the universe is nothing but a glimmer of light which comes and goes in front of you. And Ashtavakra said, you are the boundless ocean in which these arcs of these universes, they come and go. So either they were super deluded or they were crooks. Does he look like a crook? Does he look deluded? Doesn't seem deluded, because he was an uneducated BD seller on the streets of Mumbai, and he came to the meeting with God, and then people from all over the world came to meet him, and the words he said have become the Bible of Advaita. Could that one have been lying? So if all of this is shining in that light of God, of consciousness, we want to say, but I am God too, and therefore I don't need to listen. Isn't that what Ravan said? Follow the smell of the lie or the truth, but follow it fully. Find out. Find out. Between your mind, which is claiming you to be something, and this silly boy sitting here making all these absurd claims, follow which one is true. Follow. Don't follow blindly. Follow. Truly look. If you have found God truly, if you have truly found God, which most of the Sangha may say, how can you value anything else? What does it compare to God? If you have a gold mine at home, how many hours will you beg on the streets? If you have God in your life, how can you suffer about relationships and money? So either there is still, in spite of the insight, some separation getting created. See, when I came today, I felt like I'm not going to make any fiery speeches because my children are really burning. So I wanted to keep it very academic. But I can't stop this heart. So either you found God or not. But to find God and then be able to suffer and then make Advaita excuses for suffering, that is what we need to deconstruct. And I don't want any, of course, any posing and lack of integrity where all of you have that fake, like I never want any of you to have that fake sort of, yes, all is the self, I have not suffered. Yeah? But those words have to be fragrant when they come from you. I would rather prefer this integrity over that any day. But really, put into your light, are you truly discovering God or is this just some hocus pocus business? The presence that you're meeting, who is that? Is that not God? And if it is God, what does the rest of this mean? And I'm not advocating, not yet anyway, any sadhu lifestyle. Because what you do outside doesn't matter to me. Inwardly, what are you placing value for? Relationship? Money? Spiritual progress? You met God. What progress? You can say that I am at the ultimate, the unborn, that which is aware even of the presence of God. But this is how I want my life to be. Can you really? Can you really? The problem is that we feel that we have discovered something that we can make a claim over. So therefore, the ego can become the owner, the claimant of this discovery, rather than saying that I found this beautiful temple in my heart where I can sacrifice myself.
What does that mean?
Yeah. So let me repeat first. The problem is that our spiritual discovery has become something that we can make a claim over and therefore make us the owner of that discovery, rather than us being able to look at it really to say that I found this temple of God's presence in my heart where I can sacrifice myself. is the claim for you, is the presence for you, are you for God? And many of you, of course, now are jaded with me saying this stuff. It's just like, just belaboring the point now. Just belaboring the point now. But I'm just saving you a lot of trouble, because if you don't reverse that equation, that you can make a claim about God rather than you becoming headless in this meeting with God, then I would have done you a great disservice.
The problem is that we are God and us.
Yeah.
Because if we are God, we are in God.
Yeah.
Everything is God. It's no problem.
Yes.
Everything is.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. So everything is God, and everything is God, and this is apparent to us, empty of the hypnosis of me. That's why I said God or me. You see? The sage did not say, oh, everything is God and therefore no problem. Anyway, you see, which is the shield and barrier which many of us are creating for meeting this, because you're just like, but everything is God. What is he talking about? Sacrifice and letting go and surrendering. Everything is God. Has he forgotten Advaita? Forgotten. Maybe he never knew anyway. I just want to shake up Ananta and tell him, everything is God, man. What are you going on about? You see? And maybe you're feeling bad that you followed this one for 12 years. You didn't actually know any Advaita in the first place. Huh? But for a moment, if you don't feel that I could be deluded about this, what am I saying? That you are not truly empty. Everything is God and everything is always God. But you're discounting the power of egoic hypnosis to make it seem as if it isn't. And that is what all of satsang is for. So if everything is already God, then why do we meet? Of course everything is already God. Why do we meet? Why does your heart get you here? Because this great seeming is a great seeming. Is a great seeming. This Leela is a great seeming. It is a great seeming. What makes it great? You heard Guruji say it's a great seeming. What makes it great?
It's God's way.
It's great because it's potent. It's not an impotent seeming. It's a seeming. Leela hai, some Maya. Even the people on the street say, no? It's all Leela, it's all Maya. But it's great because of its potency. It's got you by the throat. So just by knowing the term Leela and knowing the term Maya and saying, I can say, oh, all of this is unreal, doesn't make any difference. It still got you by the throat. How to loosen its hold. Insight, faith. And faith needs humility. Insight has been made very straightforward for you. You spent many years exploring the insight of God. But how many of you can truly say, this great seeming has loosened its hold on me fully? No, you can say, oh, my life is a little more peaceful. So better not say it's a great seeming unless it really rings true. He's still willing to fight with the auto rickshaw guy for 50 rupees. So let's not use big words. Not that it is inherently wrong to do that. Till we love God more than we love ourselves, I'm not leaving you. After that is up to you. Till you love God more than you love what you take yourself to be, I'm not leaving you. I can't force you, of course. But I'm here for you as long as it takes.
I can feel.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm going to speak falsehood. I feel that I can surrender fully today. And if it's or something or knowingness, I don't know, or just this illusion of myself.
Yes. My question to all of you is simple. Are you living in God's light?
Yes.
Or are you living in God's light only in Satsang, only when you remember God, only in exceptional situations? Because if you truly found God, why would you spend a moment away from God? What else can be valuable? And if God's presence and you can stay with it in spite of all this worldly play that happens, then why leave God for me? Why leave God for me? So either something is not truly recognizing your own discovery, and it's kind of a skeptical discovery for yourself. Yes, there's a presence here, but hoga, who really knows? But if you really did not take the words of Satsang to be just fancy words, and we call it the light of this universe, if you were to meet, like if the light of the universe embodied itself in some way and had given us an appointment today, and was walking into this room, the light of the universe is coming into this room, then you would not waste your time looking a moment anywhere else. Huh? If embodied in the form of Krishna, God was coming into Satsang today, or Ram or Jesus, it was coming into Satsang today, would you leave that? So why this doubt and skepticism about that which you are discovering in your heart? And if I am telling you that is the very light in which Ram and Krishna appear, are these just poetic words? Krishna came and started living with you in your house, would you say, oh, Abhi, but I have to keep it all in balance? But you are finding it more intimately than that. He's not living in your house. Your house may come and go, but he is here. So what's going on? What's going on? There's a skepticism somewhere, no? We're allowing the ego to play its cards and win this game. Whose presence is that in your heart? Is that not the light of consciousness in which all aspects, all forms of God may appear? Is this theory? Is this just theory? Because if it is God, and even if you don't know whether it is God, won't you spend the rest of every moment of your life exploring whether it could be true? If this possibility was made true to you, if you got a Akashvani right now saying, if you search for me wholeheartedly, you will find God, then would you follow? So then what is the comfortable state of mistrust? What is that pose? If Krishna said to you, or whichever aspect of God is most appealing for you, said to you, you have to promise to surrender everything, but I will always be with you. What would you say? But that which you're finding directly, is that less worthwhile? Is this a lesser God you're discovering within yourself? Is it a fake thing? Could it just be a biochemical reaction? And if it is, then I am super deluded or a crook. I spent 12 years of my life telling you this. That this is God's light which lights up this whole universe is with you. Either I want something from you, or I'm super deluded, please take me to Nimans or wherever. What is the other option? Bet your life on this one. Even with the doubt that I could be a crook or a deluded one. Bet it is just one lifetime. You're going to be deluded by your mind anyway. So be deluded by me instead. Let's see what happens. That is obedience. It's not just you that are badly stuck, it's also me. I'm stuck with all of you, you're stuck with me. Let's make a go of this, yes? If you're going to be sheepish and meek, be meek outwardly, it's fine. Inwardly, fight for that which you found to be true.
What is giving strength to my falsehood?
Hmm?
What is giving strength to my falsehood?
Your idea of safety, maybe. Your idea of balance, maybe. Your idea of image, maybe. Maybe it's your idea of not wanting conflict in your life. Maybe any of these.
You can say that.
Father,
Yes.
I don't mind to have fear or anything. I see the deluded one. Also, I see that it's not me. Even if it's
Yes, my dear, but I am asking you a simple thing. Have you met God?
yes,
Then what else is of value in your life?
I don't know, Father.
This is the question worth exploring. After a meeting with God and that darshan of even the absolute, what are we still holding on to? Why is this world not erupting in your light if this is true that all of you have met God?
But maybe if there is something that is halting, it's not me. I don't know.
Don't think about it. Don't think about it. Don't come to an understanding. Shine in the light of the discovery that you are making. Don't hide God in some safe house in your house and live life as if your safe is empty.
More than that, I have false assurance of God is in closet and I can get it whenever I want.
Yes, yes. That's what I'm saying, that in our Sangha we are full of first world problems. Isn't it? I have seen God, I know it's so easy, I can just check, can I stop being? Here it is. Maybe I'm going to reverse the curriculum from now on. Start with the way of faith. First empty yourself fully and then have the... So, now that you can find God anytime, for all of you, thank you for bringing it up, it's very sweet. So, you can find God anytime. How much of your life will you spend in service to this one? Or is it just a convenient genie that you can... I'm in trouble, open the cupboard. Ah, yes. Is that the value equation? And isn't that the world's idea of spirituality right now? Is God for your sukh? For your peace? The great ointment is available to us in our cupboard. Anytime we are troubled by the world, I'll go about life my way. But I also know that my way will lead to some trouble, so now I have a safety blanket. Is that it? Is this what satsang was for? Is that what freedom means? Is that what enlightenment is? The great comforter is now available. So she asked me last night, why have you changed? So peacefully you were showing us beingness and awareness. It was straightforward. I found something, then I had a nice time in Egypt also. Now I'm back. But Ananta is only different. So I said I changed because if I hadn't shown you the insights first and this now, you would have run already. Now because you have found something which no other shop can sell you, you're stuck. Because you found the darshan of yourself. Now you cannot even fully doubt. Because you've tried various things but you did not find that. So those who had this insight, and my blessing and hope of course is that all of you have had, then you made it worse for yourself. He's made us see something which nobody else made us see. It's become so apparent to us that it is beyond time and space. My reality is beyond this universe. I found that it's not just a concept or a beautiful scriptural verse that I've memorized. It is my living discovery. And now he's saying, empty yourself fully, die onto yourself while you are alive. Make that which you are discovering the only center around which your life revolves. Give yourself in service to that one. And all of that is seeming painful in spite of the fact that if I ask any of you besides that one, who else is here? Nobody. So who is this instruction for, you say? That one which is getting poked. Getting this part. I have found that only God is. So I am saying, follow that light, follow that presence unwaveringly. You say, but there is nobody else. Who is to follow that one? And I say, this one that asks this question. It's all confusing? Should I repeat? One more time, okay. Third time's the charm. You're coming to the discovery that there is only one Advaita, non-duality. There's only one. Even the oneness of it is just, for the use of words, it's just no two. I'm saying to you that whatever you take yourself to be, let that one be in service to that which you are discovering, because that is the only one. You're saying, why should I follow anything? Because I am that itself. So who is this instruction for? It is for the one who is saying that why should I follow anything? Because this one has to be submerged fully in the reality of you. Otherwise we'll keep playing whack-a-mole with this one. Our whole life will go. Okay. All my love, all my blessings. Very good. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. Love you. Sadhguru Shri Moji Baba ki
Jai.
Sadhguru Shri Ananta Ji ki
Jai.
Guru Kripa Keval.